Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Music and Moonsaults. I am your host, Chris Bordine, and we got a new album review today. I'm going to give my thoughts on the new Iron Maiden album, Senjutsu, that came out about a week ago. But before I do that, before we get started here, leave a like, thumbs up on the video, please. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, and then tap that bell so you get all your notifications when a new video gets posted. And you can leave a comment on the video too. Let me know what you think of the album, or what you think of my review. Or you can just tweet me directly at ibenezchris. And follow me on there. You can go to facebook.com/musicandmoonsaults if you're on Facebook, and then if you just want to listen to the audio, you can go to anchor.fm/Christopher-Bordine5 and get all the audio links there to the various platforms. So like I said, I think it was about a week ago, Iron Maiden released their new album, Senjutsu. It's kind of a... it was kind of weird. It was I can't remember when the first single dropped. It was a month or two ago when they dropped the Writing on the Wall, and it's like, oh, cool, we're getting a new Maiden album. And apparently it's an album that they've had in the can for almost 2 years. They recorded it on a break between legs of the Legacy of the Beast tour that they were doing. They went in the studio and recorded this album, and then sat on it, and because they, we're gonna finish that tour, and then, the world happened, and they've kind of just been sitting on it, and they finally decided we got to get this out. So they released it, and so I pre-ordered a vinyl from Walmart. Because it has a Walmart had a special edition colored vinyl that I'll show you here. But real quick, you can really see the album cover on the screen there. But here's that. Just a really cool look for Eddie, the samurai look. One of my favorite iterations of Eddie, actually. Between that and maybe Trooper Eddie might be my favorite, but this is really cool. And then there's the back cover right there, and then so because of the length of the album, let's see here, does it have the total runtime? Yes, an hour and 20 minutes, hour and 21 minutes for 10 songs. So it is a triple vinyl, but it's got a really cool gatefold here that I'll try and get all in the screen. I don't know if you can see. You might not be able to see. There we go. I have to pull back a little bit. Scream for me, YouTube. Anyways, but yeah, it's really cool. A really cool package. Like I said, triple vinyl. Let me see if I can pull one of these out. So, and then yeah, there's another really cool picture of the samurai Eddie. And then I was a little disappointed in the one I got. So it's supposed to be red and black swirl, and the black swirl doesn't really, you can see it in a couple spots, but down here, you can kind of see it. And then up here on the edge, there's a nice little spot, but other than that, and it's like that on all three discs, which I was kind of kind of disappointed in, to be honest. I was expecting a more pronounced swirl, but it's still pretty cool. And then they've only got the track listings listed on the one side for for those two sides, and then on the other side of the label they got each one has a different picture there too. So, but yeah, aside from my disappointment in the swirl on the vinyl, I think the packaging is top notch, which is to be expected, quite honestly. So from Iron Maiden, they're really good about that stuff. So yeah, like I said, they've had this in the can for a couple years, and they decided to release it. Just some background on me. I'm still a fairly new Maiden fan. I never really, they were just never were really in my orbit for whatever reason. Obviously, I knew songs like Run to the Hills and The Trooper and Number of the Beast and stuff like that. But I don't know why. They just never were in my orbit until I saw the... there was a couple different documentaries or whatever, and I think they all came out around the same. There was Flight 666, and then there was another one. It was all around the Somewhere Back in Time tour that they did. So I saw those two things, and I'm like, oh, this is some really good stuff. I don't know why I've been sleeping on this. So then I went, and for my birthday in 2013, I went out and went to Best Buy and was like, this is back when like I was still really into CDs, and I was like looking through, and they had the Somewhere Back in Time like greatest hits compilation. And so I picked that up, and I'm like, okay, yeah, no, this is really cool. And then, I got a couple of the other older albums. So for me, for the bands I like, if you know the food pyramid, I kind of have like a music pyramid. And so like at the top of the pyramid is the bands that I'm like the most passionate about, that I know like the whole catalog. So, Kiss and Foo Fighters basically. They're at the top of that pyramid. And then like the next level down is the bands where like I know pretty much the whole catalog, with some blind spots maybe. So that'd be like Motley Crue and the Beatles. That would be like the next tier down. And then the tier below that is bands where I have certain eras that I'm really into, and the rest I'm still kind of, whether I like, whether I've heard it and not liked it, or just never went and really dove into it. And that's where Iron Maiden sits. I have a core, because of that compilation and because of, those two things I saw surrounding that tour, based on that time frame. So basically from Number of the Beast through Somewhere in Time is, so those, was it 4 or 5 album span? That's like my sweet spot for Iron Maiden. Peace of Mind is by far my favorite Maiden album. I think it's so great. Power Slave is good too, and then obviously it kicks off, that era kicks off with Number of the Beast, and then on the back end Somewhere in Time. So that's when I want to listen, when I'm in a mood to listen to Iron Maiden. That's typically the era I go to. Like the live, and this actually is after the Power Slave tour, so it doesn't even have Somewhere in Time on it, but Live After Death live album, like that really is my, like I said, my sweet spot. So I did buy, when Book of Souls came out about 6 years ago, I did buy it, and I liked it, and I went to the tour. They came to Detroit. It's actually the last thing I ever saw at the Palace at Auburn Hills, now that I think about it, which is kind of sad. Because I loved that building. I had so much history in that building, going to games and stuff. But anyways, so yeah, I went to the tour and I liked it. But like, to be honest, I liked the album. And I listened to it quite a bit, when it came out, and up through, like, it came out in September of 2015, and then the concert I went to was in April of 2016. And so I listened to it pretty regularly during that time frame, but then I don't think I've listened to it since. And I kind of feel the same way about this album. It's not bad. It is good. It's a good album, but it's some of these older bands, God love them for putting out new material, like, because Lord knows there's a lot of them that don't anymore. They just rest on their laurels of the hits and stuff. But it's kind of like a catch-22, because, a lot of them will tell you, well, we don't put anything out because when we play, people just want to hear the old stuff. And that's kind of how I feel. Like I said, I'll listen to this for a little bit, and if they ever, I know they've said that they got to finish the Legacy of the Beast tour before they do anything to tour with this. So it could be another 2 years before they even tour on this album, which is kind of weird to think about. So I'll listen to it for the next little bit, but after that, I'm not sure how much I'll listen to it. But so I'm just gonna quickly go track by track. I'll give you my thoughts briefly. It's like I said, it's 10 songs, hour and 20 minutes. There's, out of those 10 songs, there are 2 that are under 5 minutes. There's one that's like right at 5 minutes, 4:59, and then there's another that's like 4 minutes 3 seconds. And consequently, I think those are my 2 favorite songs on the album. So, but then the last 3 songs on the album are all over 10. So there's they're definitely a lot of prog like stuff going on here. But like I said, there's some good stuff. So the first track is the title track, Senjutsu. It's 8 minutes and 20 seconds long. It's a kind of a slower tempo song. There is some cool stuff on it. Like, I like the drums that Nico is playing on it. It's I listened to an interview with him on Talk is Jericho, and he was talking about how it was like him trying on a regular drum kit, trying to simulate like if you ever seen like a movie that takes place in like old Japan or whatever, and they've got the drums going. He tried to kind of mimic that using a regular drum kit, and it sounds pretty cool. It's like almost like a tribal beat. And then it's a slower tempo song. It's good. But it kind of feels all of those 8 minutes and 20 seconds on it. So, the second song on the album is also the second single that they released from it, Stratego. It's 4 minutes 59 seconds, and this one sounds more like classic Maiden than almost anything else on the album. It's got that classic that Maiden shuffle, or that Maiden gallop. That's what it is. The Maiden gallop that Nico does, and it's a little bit different too, because it's not just a dun 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 on the kick drums. It's like a straight that there's a little breaks in it too, and it's kind of cool. But there's a little more up tempo. I think Bruce sounds really really good on it. So yeah, I really like this song a lot. The third song on the album is the first single that they released. Like I said, about a month or two ago, "The Writing on the Wall." This one's it's cool. It starts out with some acoustic guitar. It's got kind of like a Western feel a little bit to it. It's I think Steve Harris's bass comes through really well on this song, and that's something that I can't necessarily say for a lot of the songs on this album. I was talking with messaging with Joel Pearl about it the other day. He hadn't heard it yet, but I was messaging with him, and I'm like, it's weird. Like you can tell Steve's bass is there because it's got that unmistakable, that percussive sound to his playing from his fingers. Just his right hand is just godly. And so you can tell the bass is there because of that. It's got that like I said, that percussive sound to it, from his fingers hitting the strings. But as far as actually like hearing the notes that he's playing on a lot of the songs, like it just gets washed out by all the guitars and the drums and the singing. So that would be like my major complaint about the album, if I had to give you one. But Right on the Wall, it's a good song. 6 minutes and 13 seconds. Yeah, pretty good. Like I said, got a little bit of a Western feel to it. So track 4 is Lost in a Lost World. This is 9 minutes and 31 seconds long. And the first 2 minutes is it's acoustic guitar with some keyboards in the background and Bruce singing. And then almost right at the 2 minute mark, it kind of kicks in. Again, this one is not quite as much as Stratego, but this one's got a little bit more, especially when the whole band kicks in. This one has a little bit more of what I would consider a more a classic Maiden sound. But yeah, it's another solid song on the album. So song 5. So we're halfway through the album. But not really, because a lot of the length is on the back end. But song 5, Days of Future Past. I was looking at the track listing. I'm like, hey, is this about X-Men movie? But no, it's not. It's the shortest song on the album, 4 minutes and 3 seconds. It's probably my second favorite song on the album. Really like it. It was so I was listening. They did like a Iron Maiden like takeover type thing on the Ozzy's Boneyard, easy for me to say, channel on Sirius XM on Labor Day weekend, and I happened to catch a little bit of it. I wasn't in the car where I have the Sirius XM. I wasn't in that a whole lot this weekend, last weekend, but I did catch it, some of it, and one of the things was Adrian Smith talking about this particular song, and kind of it was basically him and Bruce wrote this song, and it's about the pros and cons of being immortal. So if you're immortal, like obviously cool, you get to live forever, but at the same time, like all your friends, live and die, and you're still just going through. So it's a cool little concept. I like the song a lot. Like I said, I think it's my second favorite song on the album. So song 6, The Time Machine, coming in at 7 minutes and 9 seconds. It starts and it kind of the song bookends with the same guitar figure, It's a quieter little just a guitar riff. It's not even a riff. It's picking, and it's um if you didn't know better, you'd think it was acoustic guitar, but it's electric guitar. But it's a nice slow little picking figure that Bruce kind of sings over top of. And that, that part at the beginning is fairly long. And then at the end, probably the last 20-30 seconds of the song, it goes back to that again. And in the middle it's a like I said, it's a decent song. But yeah, that's Time Machine. Song 7, The Darkest Hour, 7 minutes 20 seconds. This one starts out, it's got like the sounds of like waves crashing and some seagulls in the distance. And then the guitars come in, and this one is very similar. Like it gives me very Somewhere in Time vibes. That same kind of very chorusy tone that's on a lot of that record, like Wasted Years. So it's kind of cool. And again, this is a little slower throughout most of the song. But it's a good song. It might be my third favorite song on the album. The chorus is got that like it's really cool because towards the end of the chorus, he's like, I don't know all the words, but he basically ends it with the darkest hour, and then it goes da 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 da, the darkest hour. It's really cool. I like that song a lot. So that's Darkest Hour. Song 8 is Death of the Celts, and this starts the 3 ending tracks that are all over 10 minutes long. The epics, so to speak. This one's 10 minutes and 20 seconds. And this is also, I believe, the history lesson, or at least one of them, and that I know for sure is a history. You know how they like to do the history lessons. They're a very informative band. But this is cool. It wouldn't surprise me. In fact, if I had to bet on it, this would be the case. It's like the Klansmen, where Steve is actually playing an acoustic bass at the beginning, and him and guitar, and one of the guitars, and this is gonna be bad because I'm not Steve Harris, so I'm gonna play with a pick because I'm not Steve Harris. It's not gonna sound as good because I'm not Steve Harris, but just to give you an idea of what it kind of sounds like, it's like a. Something like that. And it does that back and forth, and then there's a couple other different parts to it, but it's really cool. Yeah, that's probably the coolest part of the song to me is just that. Because that's like I said, it's one of the few moments on the record where I feel like, in my opinion, that Steve actually gets a chance to shine on this. And I mean, it's his band after all. Come on now. So yeah, that's Death of the Celts. Song 9, The Parchment. It's the longest song on the album. 12 minutes, 38 seconds. And this is, I've heard, like I said, I heard an interview with Nico. I heard an interview with Bruce, with Eddie Trunk. And both of them mentioned that this is a song that they were looking forward to playing live. It's cool. The beginning, again, I believe there's some acoustic bass at the beginning. It's got this, like, the song has, like, an Egyptian vibe to it, which is really cool. Ancient Egyptian vibe, I guess. but it's a good song if you're really into the epics like Rime of the Ancient Mariner and stuff like that. This one will be right up your alley. Some great guitar work on it. Good song, yeah, for sure. The last song on the album, Hell on Earth. Um, this one has gives me Fear of the Dark vibes. Um, Again, another long intro. Like 2 minutes and 15 seconds of intro. Um, and again, it's another bookend. It's a rare fade out for Iron Maiden. Most Iron Maiden songs have a firm ending, and this not a lot of fade outs. This one is actually a fade out. This is one I can definitely see when they go play like the stadiums in South America and stuff. The crowd singing along to the guitar riff and stuff like that. It's just got that. It's got that feel. It's got that stadium feel. The song. So I think this is one that they'll definitely end up playing live when they go out on tour for the album. But yeah, that was it. That's the and just kind of going through. Really, the only song that I'm like, it's not like I hate it, but like the opening track is the only one that I'm like, I really could do without. The rest of them are all pretty good songs. So yeah, check it out if you haven't yet. Give it a listen. You know, it's on whatever streaming service. Yeah, just give it a listen. I think it's good stuff. Like I said, we'll see if it kind of stands the test of time with me or not. But for right now, I'm enjoying listening to it. So, and like I said, it's been on ice for like 2 years, and like with almost any other band, like the album would have leaked by now. But basically, because it's Steve Harris's band. Let's face it. He's the only one that had a copy, and so, in fact, Bruce, in that interview with Bruce I was telling you about, he was saying, like, because he, for the video for the Writing on the Wall, if you've seen it, it's like a cartoon. It's animated, not like a silly cartoon, but it's an animated video, and he did the storyboarding for it. And so he's trying to get this figured out, and he like had to jump through all these hoops. He called the producer, Kevin Shirley. He which always cracks me up that's the producer's name, because that's my dad and my mom's first names together. So that kind of always gives me a chuckle. But he called the producer, he called every like needing like even just a low res copy of the song so he could finish the storyboard. And finally Steve's like, yeah, here you go. So, but yeah, no, it's like I said, it's a good album. It's a good album. So definitely go check it out. So that'll do it. So got this dropping today. In a few days, I'll have something on Baron Corbin and his entrance themes for his birthday. And then a couple days after that, Matt Durr. We're talking some Guns N' Roses. That'll be fun. And to cap off the month, I'm going to have Robert O'Neill on, and we're going to talk some 1996 In Your House Mind Games, Shawn Michaels Mankind. So that'll be fun too. So like, subscribe, all that jazz. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Please leave a nice review over there too. Follow me at Ibanez Chris. Until next time, guys. See ya.